Trigger warning, brief mention of suicide. We are a neighbor, a colleague, a son, a daughter, a sister, a brother. We are not always noticeable like you may think. We are not predators, neither of women nor of children. We are not mentally ill. You don't have to understand us. You don't have to wrap your head around why, despite being despised and, in the worst cases, losing our entire families, all our friends, our jobs, and even our homes, threatened with violence just for existing, we still persist in our transition, in our truth, even if it kills us. It's impossible to truly understand unless you experience it for yourself, and few of us wish such a torment upon you. We're not asking for you to understand, just that you leave us alone. You don't even have to believe that we exist, but we do. And that's literally all we want, to simply be allowed to exist in peace, like any other person, an allowance which, in reality, threatens no one. To be allowed to walk outside without fear of violence, to feel comfortable in our own skin, to be shown the most basic and simplest elements of human dignity, a name, a pronoun, but even that is too much. Far too much. But why? Because words are powerful, and names even more so. If you acknowledge our names, you acknowledge our existence. Even worse if you acknowledge our bodies and experiences, grievous sins that threaten the entire social order and a destruction of reason and reality. You cannot see us because you don't want to see us, but that doesn't mean we aren't here. And so, in the arrogance of your cis-centered reality, you condescend and tell us that our experience isn't real, that our struggle is purely psychiatric, that we must not be allowed to mutilate our bodies, and that we should make a different choice. Who cares what we, the people living the experience, have to say, right? Our experience isn't real to you because you're looking through the lens of an experience in which your mind and body are aligned. That is to say, in which your gender and sex are aligned. The norm from which any deviation must, by both natural design and by necessity, be wrong, unless reality itself fall apart. A bit overdramatic, don't you think? Our struggle is purely psychiatric to you because it's the only logical explanation that fits into your worldview, into that very same lens of aligned gender and sex, mind and body, the one that blocks you from understanding what it's like to be us. You say that the body is the physical, it is the real of flesh and of blood, of bone and of sinew, of genitals and other dimorphic features. The mind is ethereal, a mere byproduct of the body, or perhaps an expression of the soul, which of course God wouldn't put into the wrong body. Or if not a misperception of reality, then surely a mere fetish. One doesn't need to be insane to be a perverted deviant. It's inconceivable that there could be a legitimate, valid mismatch between mind and body. It's simply unnatural. But why? Sit and really think about that instead of going off of your culturally programmed thought patterns. Why is that so impossible, so unthinkable, so absurd when talking about such immensely complex natural machines as the brain and the body, especially when physical, quote, abnormalities happen in intersex people? Why can such a thing not happen in the mind and still be a valid, normal, perfectly rational variation of nature? Besides, who are you to dictate our reality? We must not mutilate our bodies according to you because, after all, this is an illusion, a fever dream, a false perception not aligned with reality, and such changes are permanent. So you must protect us from ourselves and not allow such a thing to happen. You are benevolent. You are rational. One might even say lovingly paternal, if not for our sakes, then for your children's. You are of sound mind and body, capable of making decisions that we clearly cannot make for ourselves. Delusions can be fixed, so best not to do anything we'll regret later, right? Despite regret rates being almost non-existent percentage-wise. Oh, so arrogant as you peer through that lens of an aligned gender and sex, a mind that feels at home in its body. You can't understand it, so we must be wrong, and you use the law to rob us of agency. After all, if everyone had full bodily autonomy, the social hierarchy, even morality itself, would surely disintegrate. You're not just protecting us and your children, you're protecting civilization itself, despite the fact that we've always existed. How wise and merciful, O saviors of mankind. Bravo! We must make a different choice, according to you, because that's all it is. A choice, a lifestyle, a deviancy from the good, the proper, and the normal, as evidenced by the seemingly 98% of good, proper, and normal people. Such arrogance. Many of us pay every price imaginable, losing everything and everyone, spit upon by a society that wishes us dead. We must surely be hopelessly depraved and ill, brainwashed by an evil ideology, if we're willing to go so far simply to feel more comfortable in our own skin, to exist how we feel we must, something that is authentically generated from deep within our being, rather than imposed from without. The only real choice for most trans people is to be who we are or die. That is why we face down the barrel of annihilation from society, because we're dead either way. For a beating heart empty of soul does not make a life, but rather a hollow, hazy shell of a machine, a ghost passing through, the life we live before transition. Many of us take our own lives, but at least we go out on our own terms, as ourselves, claiming the final and ultimate act of bodily autonomy, of agency, driven to the edge by you. And you simply cheer, barbarically clapping your blood-drenched hands at some twisted conception of truth, justice, and morality. One less mentally ill person to worry about, one less deviant to prey upon our children so that they are not physically harmed or brainwashed into making a similar choice, as if it were a choice to begin with. That's the worst part of all. Any such fears of grooming, perversion, or the collapsing of society are completely unfounded, and all you have is hate full of empty justifications.